In this video we're going to look at the market dump that we can see at the moment for Bitcoin and the overall crypto market. But guys, I'm going to show you why this is not the time to panic. Yes, I didn't upload a video for several days, but this has nothing to do with the price movement of Bitcoin and the overall crypto market getting this short-term dump. Because keep in mind guys, the sentiment hasn't changed and we can see a lot of pro-crypto adoption around the globe when it comes to central banks, states, even nations adopting Bitcoin. But we're going to look at the bearish case, but most importantly we're going to look at the history of Bitcoin, why we are seeing this dump at the moment. And can you remember guys, yes, my worst case was all the way at 90,000 US dollars. We broke this level towards the downside, but I also told you that if the price movement of Bitcoin is going to break this level towards the downside, that this is going to be a fast move. And yes, we're going to look at some bullish charts which might tell us that we're going to see a fast reversal exactly from this level. But yes, it is very important, even if the market gets these major dumps towards the downside, that you should stay calm, don't panic, but most importantly, don't sell. Because this is exactly what all the major players want. And yes, I've been telling it for a very long time. In fact, I've been uploading a video exactly 7 months ago where I told you that exactly the same scenario is going to happen. Yes, this was exactly when we saw this major dump for the price movement of Bitcoin round about the levels of 55,000 US dollars where we got this major dump. But most importantly guys, history does repeat and we're going to look at exactly these patterns. But most importantly, we're going to find out how the whales and major institutions are manipulating the price movement to drive all the weak hands out. And remember what I've been saying, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And that's why we're going to stay calm. And yes, if you bought crypto a while back, you may be at a loss at the moment with your portfolio. But if we're going to zoom out and look at all of these charts, guys, sometimes it is important just to detach yourself from all this dump and all the FUD, the fear, uncertainty and doubt, and focus on the positive news. Because ultimately guys, this is not close to the top and we could expect a major explosion towards the upside. So if you want to stay one step ahead and if you want to find out why we saw this dump in the market and what does it mean, you need to watch the video until the end. But most importantly guys, smash up the like button and subscribe, and welcome back to B for Crypto. And before we're going to look at the charts, we're directly going to go over to the news. Here's what happened in crypto today. And yes, we're just going to run through this. Bitcoin falls under 91k as Trump says that the tariffs are still on. And that's why we saw this fear in the market, and maybe this also led to the dump. But over to some bullish news. The SEC task force continues meetings with firms over crypto regulations. So this is ultimately quite bullish that the SEC is talking with all these major CEOs, like for instance Michael Saylor. But yes, we saw also some major fear in the market as Bybit got hacked. And if you're in my free Telegram group, I updated you about this hack on Bybit. But ultimately guys, I'm extremely bullish because the Bybit CEO Ben Zhao says that the cryptocurrency exchange has fully replaced the 1.4 billion worth of Ethereum that was hacked. So yes, this is a very positive thing. If a major exchange like Bybit gets hacked, they kept the withdrawals open, so you were free to take your money off the exchange. But I kept all my money on Bybit because I have a huge trust when it comes to the reserves and also the liquidity that Bybit holds, being the third biggest exchange. And yes guys, if you want to trade all of these moves and buy crypto on the spot market, I would definitely say Bybit is the place to go because they have been tested with the biggest hack in crypto and the withdrawals weren't stopped. So this is a huge sign that they're liquid and that they're going to replace the funds that have been hacked. So ultimately guys, I'm extremely bullish on Bybit. But you can also trade all of these moves on BloFin or even Phemex, where you receive a major deposit bonus. And yes, you can also trade without any KYC over on Phemex, but only with my exclusive link. But ultimately guys, these are my top 3 exchanges: Phemex, BloFin and Bybit. With Bybit, I hold the biggest trust when it comes to holding my portfolio, trading, and a portion of my portfolio I hold over on BloFin. But most of the time I trade on BloFin and also Phemex. And it's really important to diversify your portfolio. But most of my portfolio I still keep at Bybit because with this major hack, this just gives me the security that my funds are safe. But overall, I don't think that this has affected the market, and this led to this major dump. Guys, we have a lot of liquidity in the market, and the market was overall bullish for the previous 2 years. So yes, all these weak hands has to be flushed out of the market, and also major liquidity that has been building up. Because over on this post of Titan of Crypto, Bitcoin important update. Bitcoin is breaking the trend line and dipping below the last week low. Market makers at work. Yes guys, this is just a major liquidity grab, but keep in mind the weekly candle has still 5 days left to close. Plenty of time to reclaim the trend line by then. But ultimately guys, nothing has changed and I'm still extremely bullish. Because yes, this was a major shakeout that we saw in the overall crypto market, but can you remember when the price movement was all the way at these levels, round about the 100,000 US dollars, I told you that even during a bull market, we could expect these 20% corrections, and I anticipated that we most probably going to see a worst case scenario all the way to the 80,000 US dollars, but as I saw this consolidation, which perfectly lined up with the previous consolidations that we saw for Bitcoin, I knew that this is once again just a major manipulation, and yes, it is possible that the price movement of Bitcoin comes all the way to the 80,000 US dollars, but I doubt it. I think we're going to see a fast reversal and once again come over the 90,000 US dollars, but we're going to look at the charts a little bit later. But first of all, let's go over to the next news. Just in 635 million leveraged Bitcoin positions liquidated in the last 24 hours. But once again, these are just major market makers and major whales trying to accumulate all these Bitcoin that you're going to sell at these fearful moments. Because keep in mind guys, we're getting a lot of bullish news. Just in, Japanese public company Metaplanet buys 135 Bitcoin for 1.9 billion yen. So yes guys, they're buying the dip, and if we go over to the next news article, then we can see that BlackRock to list Bitcoin ETFs in Europe. This is massive bullish news, but overall the most bullish news is that during this major dump and this collapse for Bitcoin and this also panicful moment where you should actually be accumulating, Michael Saylor's strategy just bought another 20,356 Bitcoin worth $2 billion. So yes guys, this is the ultimate bullish signal that Michael Saylor is buying this dip because he knows exactly that these major dumps towards the downside at these fearful moments is once again just to get all of this liquidity out. And yes, we've been talking about this major manipulation zone, this reaccumulation, or should I call it Wyckoff accumulation pattern, because yes, I've been talking about the Wyckoff accumulation pattern exactly 7 months ago, where the price movement of Bitcoin was exactly within this major consolidation period, round about in August 2024, where once again a lot of people were extremely fearful. And even if we're going to go all the way back to this major consolidation period that we had exactly in July 2023, we saw the same pattern. We saw a pump, we formed a high, we formed a double top, we saw this consolidation and this major accumulation phase, and once again we saw that the price movement of Bitcoin broke out from these levels and saw a major pump towards the upside. And once again, this was a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. We're going to look at the Wyckoff accumulation pattern because this is the playbook of the whales. They're buying and selling in these major ranges to accumulate even more Bitcoin, to drive all the weak hands out so that they can buy at these major fearful events, because we are seeing exactly the same scenario over and over again. We saw it in 2023, where we see that the price movement comes all the way up to these levels, forms a double top, forms a low, forms a triple top, which normally is a lower high. We are seeing this downwards trend, forming even a lower low, exactly here in phase C, where all the major corporations are accumulating. And yes guys, this was exactly the fact. In 2023, we formed this double top and even this lower high exactly here. So this perfectly lines up. We had this low exactly as we see here, and we also see that the price movement came all the way back down to these lows as we see in phase C. So let's go over to the last accumulation phase that we had in the previous year at this major sideways move for 7 months, where I told you once again that this is going to be my worst case, and once we're going to break this worst case, that I believe that this is going to be a fast move with a fast recovery all the way back up, and exactly that played out. We had once again the double top, we had the low, we had the third lower high exactly here, exactly as in the Wyckoff accumulation pattern. We had this downwards trend from the lower low exactly here in phase C, and afterwards we saw that the market saw a major pump towards the upside. And once again, guys, we are seeing the same scenario. We are seeing a double top, we are seeing the third lower high, and now we are seeing this dump, which once again broke my worst case scenario and even formed a lower low. So this is going to mark the bottom, guys. Yes, I know I told you that the price movement is going to consolidate within these regions, but keep in mind, guys, nobody has a crystal ball and you can only act accordingly what you're seeing in the price movement. And once again, guys, I do believe that this is going to be a fast move with a fast recovery all the way back up above the 90,000 US dollars as the first target. But ultimately, guys, we are going to form this reversal. All these major corporations, institutions, BlackRock, MicroStrategy that are accumulating these huge amounts of Bitcoin, they knew exactly what is going to happen, and they followed the playbook of the Wyckoff accumulation pattern to accumulate from all these weak hands, from all the coins that are being dumped on the market. So that's why I think that this is just the final dump, because remember, it is always darkest before dawn, and we could expect this reversal and this fast move exactly from this level. And before we're going to end this video, we're going to look at the 4-hour chart, because we formed this fast wick towards the downside with this doji candle, and now it's very important for the price movement of Bitcoin to form a double bottom exactly within these levels. And on the daily chart, we can also see that this perfectly lines up. Yes, we had this symmetrical triangle, which we thought we were going to get this bullish breakout from, but this didn't happen. We saw this reversal, we broke out towards the downside, and now it's really important that we're going to keep this falling wedge or this flag that we are forming on the daily chart for Bitcoin, because we can see that Bitcoin is moving within this flag. And yes, this perfectly lines up with this major wick towards the downside, this downward sloping trend, where we can get this bounce exactly from this level. And we can also see that we have a lot of liquidity here, previous resistance and also support exactly within the levels of 87,000 US dollars. Yes, we saw this wick towards the downside for Bitcoin all the way to the worst case scenario, all the way to the $86,997. And yes, guys, I believe that the price movement is going to consolidate within this region, but my bullish case is going to be that Bitcoin is once again going to close above the 90,000 US dollars and come all the way back into this major support range, because we can see that the price movement saw a major dump, we perfectly bounced off, once again saw this major liquidity grabs, and yes, guys, this level held major significance, and we came all the way back down to get this liquidity. And yes, I believe that all these ETFs are going to accumulate at these fearful moments, and this is also what you should be doing. Don't sell, don't panic, just accumulate or wait and sit on your hands, because nothing has changed. Because yes, we were in some trades on Friday, but we set our stop loss exactly in profit, so we weren't affected from this major dump that we saw over the weekend and the previous 2 days, because ultimately, guys, we are buying low and selling high, and we closed all of the previous trades in a profit. And that's why we opened just now this trade on Bitcoin, Ondo, and also Solana, because I really do believe that this liquidity grab is over, and that after a short consolidation period, we're going to see that Bitcoin and all of these altcoins are going to see a fast recovery. And if you sold Ondo exactly here at these major levels, guys, you're going to buy Ondo when it's well above this level, because if you didn't hold when the price movement is here, you wouldn't buy if the price comes all the way back down, because you anticipate that the price is going to go even lower. That's why we are opening exactly here our trades at these major fearful moments where we see a lot of liquidity and this major dump towards the downside. But ultimately, guys, I do believe that the price movement is going to turn around, and don't panic. If you bought crypto a few weeks ago or even a month ago, guys, you just need to hold on, because yes, this is not going to be the top for Bitcoin. This is just once again going to be a liquidity grab before we're going to see the next leg of the bull market, exactly as in the playbook of the whales in the Wyckoff accumulation pattern. And yes, guys, if you always want to stay one step ahead, join my free Telegram group. But most importantly, guys, smash up the like button and subscribe, and we see each other in the next video.